Page 148, Swan Lake, or it's a theme from the overture. 4/4 time, one sharp, we're in the key of E minor, that's the key we've been in for a while. And it looks kind of ugly when you look it over. It's like, good Lord, what's going on? Eighth notes and all this dotted rhythms and junk going on, but we'll just take it a piece at a time and we'll get through it. Right hand first, let's just figure out the notes and the rhythms and the fingering. Here, half note, we're starting in this position. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. See, on these dotted rhythms, it's a little easier to see where the eighth note comes in because the left hand has quarter notes. And you can see that eighth note falls in between two quarter notes and it falls in between two beats. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2 and 3 and then in measure 3, that middle C there in the last beat, the left hand covers that. So the right hand just rests. So it's 3 and 4 and 1. Measure 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, because that E is tied to an eighth note. And again, the quarter notes in the left hand to help you keep where the beat is, because the beat needs to be steady eventually. Go down to the last line, measure 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. This is just a fingering for an E minor scale. And 4. And then cross under for the last two eighth notes. They want the thumb on the C. That's fine. And I'm playing all this connected right now. 1 and 2. And then they want you to lift. Yuck. What? Let's take a look at measure 12. It's 4 and then 3 and then well, it's between the phrases. You're going to lift up. But this business, I would not recommend it. I really would not recommend doing that. I mean, sometimes you may have to do it. You don't have a choice because of other things going on. I suggest you try this. You can still lift, just play it with the thumb. So it's 1 and 2 here, and then cross over third finger. And I'm back to where I was. I think that's a much safer fingering. This is one of the reasons I try and finger things all legato. Because I want to try and work out a fingering that works legato, regardless of whether I can lift or not. This is, and I can do that. You do that some more. Measure 16, it's an F natural here. 2, they want you to do a 5 and a 5. No, just don't. No. Reach up and use fourth finger. Now you can use fifth finger. Even if you have small hands, you should still be able to do that. Here, it's just one note. That's what I recommend. So again, measure 16, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Then you go back to the beginning here, and then now you can lift up and here. At least it's not eighth notes. You're gonna lift up there. That's fine. Left hand, quarter notes. E minor, 1 chord, 4 chord, 4. Measure 3 is 1 and 2 and 3. That's a quarter note and then a C. Rest. So again, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Rest. Just eighth note there. And then going on is 1 and 2 and 3. That's the 5/7 chord. See, the idea is you recognize these chords. You don't have to worry so much about the notes. You're just playing the chord as one unit, one thing. Go down to measure 8, you're ending it here. 1 and 2 and 3. During the rest, you come down here. It's a D chord. 2, 3, and just move the thumb up. Now come up, 1, 3. And you can do this 5, 3, 1 if you want, because they're all black keys. Even with the big hands, you can do that. That's fine. Not a problem. And then you come back down again. Do all that again. On measure 15, you're here, and then That is a G, a B flat, and a C. So it's here. And then an F. And again, an F sharp, an A sharp. They put the sharp sign for the F in parentheses because it's a courtesy sign. They don't need that F sharp there. It's an F sharp anyway because there's an F sharp in the key signature. They're just saying, oh, by the way, this is an F sharp. They're all sharps. F sharp, A sharp, C sharp. It's like a F chord. It's just every note went up a half step. Here. And then you have an F sharp, a B, and a D sharp. Now, if your hands are fat like that, doesn't work, then you have to do that. But even then, you're still up here. I'll let you work out the fingering there, but if you can, the fingering in the book is fine. And then for the coda, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and bring the thumb down. Okay, now we're in C position. That's just a broken C chord. And so again, the measure 19, where the 1 and 2 and then a thumb, and then reach down for the octave. Here, and then you can collapse once you're there. Put the hands together. Slowly, I hope. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. See, that's melody. So again, measure 3. 1 and 2. I'm still playing everything connected here. Let's go down to the last line. Measure 8. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Yeah, that's really the notes written. I know it doesn't sound right, but that's it. Fourth, go down to measure 16. You're here. 1 and 2. And that takes you back to the beginning. You got to move both hands. You're going from here, whichever fingering you're using, to here. That's kind of hard when you have to move both hands. It's nice to eventually develop the feel in the right hand where you're playing the B at the beginning, you're playing the B twice, just two different fingers. If you can learn to develop that feel without looking, that allows you to focus more on the left hand to get it where it needs to. So you can work out that hand movement, but the beat has to be steady. I mean, I know it slows down there, that'll help a little bit, and the piece is not a fast piece anyway, so that helps too. But still, the beat has to be steady. For the coda, you're down here. 4, 1 and 2. 1, 2, get the right hand, and then here, so forth. So you work it out, so the fingering and everything, no hesitations, no wrong note, everything's working fine. And then we can add the articulation. That's slurs mainly. I don't recommend lifting up there. I want this to go up to here, bleed into it. So don't disconnect that. So it's here. These you just play as legato as you can. Lift up before. Connect all that together. And that's very choppy. They're slurs. If I do it the way their slurs are, it's this way. No, we want this to flow together. Now I would suggest you slur it according to the phrases, the musical sentences, and you can hear the sentences if you listen. And here, and then at measure 4, that's pick up to a new phrase. So, and connect it. So it's at the beginning, lift up, connect. Connect this, connect all this together. again. And connect. Connect all this together. Then measure 8. And again, the phrase starts with the E, not the F sharp. So lift up, like taking a breath. Then connect this. So. Here you can lift up in the right hand. The left hand is a half note. Lift up. Here, that's fine. Just pick up to the next, but connect it to the F sharp. Connect that. The end of measure 12, connect to the beginning of measure 13. All together. So I would redo these slurs, and you may think, well, what's the difference? Because the pedal's going to cover it all up anyway. And the answer is, the difference is that you want to feel this. You want to feel these phrases. And you can't feel the phrases when you're choppy in one hand like that. It's So even though the pedal covers it up, I still want to do it with the hands. Then on measure 13, you're back to this. Lift up. Lift up. Lift up. But connect these, connect that together. Lift up both hands because you're back to the beginning. You go to the coda from the end of the third line on page 148. So you hear that this is measure 7 is what it is. Connect the 8th note to the whole note. There's no break in that. So it's again. Then lift up. I'd connect all these 8th notes together. There's a lot of these pieces, the way they're edited in these Faber books, gives me the impression that people who did this editing are violin players, string players, because these slurs they've got going work great for violin, but that tells you the up bow, down bow thing. So that's not the same as slurs for piano. They're different. So it's like they're confusing them here. So I would not follow these slurs written in this piece at all. It's This down here on measure 19, that's for bowing. I go down bow and then up bow, but I can connect those together because just because they're different bows doesn't mean I'm going to put silence between them. They're not for slurring or any of that. They're for bowing, to tell you what the bowing is. Then we add the dynamics. That's for the melody. Everything else has to be background. What do you think soft is? Then you're going up to moderately soft. You go there, not loud yet. It's just a little louder than soft. The left hand is very soft. Except that one note's melody. Back down to soft. Go back. Now we're soft. Get louder. Get louder again. No, it's not really loud. It's just sort of loud. I tend to get a little loud here. Climax of the piece. This is where you're loud. Softer and slow down. Each note here is loud, medium, soft, soft. Just each with each. And then you go back to soft at the beginning. So forth. And the coda, you're medium soft when you get there. they give you medium soft in the second measure, but you're already medium soft. I mean, the left hand gets melody here, so now it can play the same as the melody, because the left hand has been playing very soft. So here it can come out. And then both hands the same here. Medium soft and soft. Or very soft, whatever. You have to experiment. You got to get comfortable enough with it that you're not thinking about notes and rhythms and all that, and you start feeling this, and you get these dynamics, you feel these dynamics, you feel these crescendos and decrescendos, and that's where it happens. Right now we're kind of forcing them, but you want to get to where you feel it. Now we need pedal, because this is for an orchestra piece. We want lots of overtones, we want it connected. You know, there's no staccatos anywhere, but it would be nice to hear the phrasing. So we don't want the pedal covering everything up, and we don't want it to get too blurry. This is not a blurry piece. This is a very pretty piece. It's supposed to be, anyway. It's overlapping pedal, so the pedal lags behind the notes. It overlaps all the way through. The notes go down first, and then the pedal, and so forth. If I pedal it just the way it's shown in the book, and remember, they're keeping the pedaling simple for you. I tend to complicate it a little bit because I don't like all the blurriness. But if I pedal it the way they're showing, it's this. If that sounds fine to you, go for it. I don't care for it at all. So I want to adjust the pedaling a little bit. We want the overtones, we want the legato. So we're going to have to do that. But I don't want to be smearing things. So what happens if maybe I don't pedal the last beat or last two beats of the first measure? Well, if I pedal the first two beats only and lift it up, then it's this. If I pedal the first three beats and lift it up on the last beat, it's this. There's two different ways of doing it, and the change is very minor, but you have to listen to these little things. You decide. I just don't recommend pedaling the whole thing. I don't want to listen to all that. So I can smear the first two notes, and then lift it up to clean it out, or just don't pedal it. Well, we want to connect the left hand. So it's a give and take. I suggest maybe just don't pedal the last beat. Go ahead and change it on the third, but don't pedal it. And this is okay. And then when you get to measure 3, the last beat, don't pedal the last beat. Just let those be alone. I want to hear the measure 4. I want to hear that breath, and so I'm going to lift the pedal up with the right hand. Measure 8, I'm lifting the pedal up with the right hand, so that last note is by itself. Here I'm using a different style of pedaling. I'm complicating it a little bit. And if you're struggling with this, then forget it. But if you're getting it pretty good, then try this out. I don't want to smear this. This is measure 9. I don't want to smear this. No, I don't want to smear that. But I want to connect the left hand. And the only way to connect chords like that is with the pedal. So I'm going to use a style of pedaling or technique where I'm only pedaling long enough to connect the chords. So I'm pedaling here, just right before I need to play the next chord, I'll put the pedal down, play the chord and lift up. Here, now on the last measure of the page, you can pedal the first two beats, is okay, because there's not a lot going on in the right hand. that's fine. So it's this way. I don't pedal the last. I want to hear the breath mark. And I don't pedal on major 12. I don't pedal the eighth notes, so it's. Measure 17, you can pedal it like it's shown. And then, and that's how I suggest you pedal it there. For the coda, here, I lift it up on the second measure. I want all that sound to clear out. I want that this is a solo, and I don't want all that other background here. We want the overtones. And then at the end the pedal and the hands come up together here. That's my impression of the pedaling. That's what I'm suggesting. 1 and 2 and ready and go and 1 and 2 and. To the coda.